What's going on, YouTube? It's NC, a place to be chilling. Mr. A&D, back to give you guys another WWE Hall of Fame review. Yes, on this channel every single year, as you guys have probably been seeing from the No Gimmicks Needed Rewind. We review every single Hall of Fame when we start reviewing the Hall of Fame, because the Hall of Fame was one of my favorite parts of WrestleMania weekend. I enjoy seeing the legends and stuff like that, go in there and hearing the stories and stuff like that. Yes, the Hall of Fame has been played down in recent years, and I'll get into that also. But today, the Undertaker was going in there. But joining me on the Hall of Fame review is also my man who's been on there with me on every single Hall of Fame review since 2017, and that's not Deion saying it's for prime time.
Well, he said he'll be back.
Oh, he said, okay. And then also joining us for, I think, the first time, maybe the second time.
This might be supposed to be my third.
Oh, okay.
I think I was here for Kurt Angle, and then Hillbilly Jim. That was Goldberg. You know I wasn't missing that.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely right. So yeah, and we join us is also Freshman Flo, the man, the myth, the reality, and the revolutionary.
Yes, sir. What's the word?
We doing all right over here, man. So, look, guys, real quick to buy some time. I said Podcast doing a little busy right now, but he'll be joining us in just a second. But it's the 2022 Hall of Fame, and this week I was trying to review everything. I'll be honest with you guys. WrestleMania week for content creators, as anybody know out there, is just hard. And I was sitting there trying to get old content together, put up new content, record this, do this, and try to do all that stuff like that. I'm just like, look, there's something I'm just not going to get to, and I didn't get a chance to get. I didn't do Raw, the Raw review. I did put up the midweek Wrestling War, because I enjoyed, both shows there. And I was like, well, let me review WrestleMania SmackDown. They did WrestleMania Raw, WrestleMania SmackDown. Maybe I could combine it into like one big review. And I was sitting there thinking, like, really nothing happened on Raw other than Bianca cutting Becky's hair, which is a segment I liked. But Brock cut a regular promo. Roman finally brought some clarity to their rivalry. And that was basically it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bobby Lashley came back, but then they gave away the spot on Raw instead of doing it on WrestleMania, and I was like, okay, that really turned me off. So I was like, well, is WrestleMania SmackDown going to be any better? And honestly, not really. And I didn't even see much of it because go ahead.
The only thing they kind of gave interest to was the Pat McAfee, Austin Theory thing.
What did they do with that?
So, like, because it was just funny how it started, though, because it was like Shinsuke and Boogs coming out, Pat's doing his usual thing, and while he's dancing on the table, Austin Theory just like trips him up while he's on the table. So, he's trying to go fight him, and Vince is like, if you touch him, you're fired. Like, so it's like, okay, they're putting a little heat behind the this little match.
Nah, he a punk, man. He ran against his office. He was getting chased. He ran against his office.
Yeah.
And Vince was, and he closed the door. Then he kicked the door open, and then Vince came out like, "What you think? You crazy? You want to get fired?" Like, right. First of all, Pat McAfee can afford getting fired. He makes more money than you paying him, so that's not a good thing to be like, "Oh, you can get fired." Like, really? But yeah.
Yeah, and then like Ricochet got a win. Whoa!
Finally, gosh, pick him and he lose this 3 weeks in a row clean. Come on, man.
Right, but besides that was really about it.
I know they had the Andre Giant Memorial, or whatever.
Oh
and
boy,
Madcap Moss won that.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna win it.
I don't think Madcap Moss was gonna win that.
Yeah, because he gonna win and then whoever gonna lose and he gonna be like, "Oh, I gotta win over you." Then they gonna start fighting. So WWE booking.
Yeah, and he eliminated Balor of all people. They doing Balor kind of bad. He was main eventing on main event.
You know what?
He is the United States champion, Q.
Huh?
He is the United States champion.
Oh my God, he is.
Yes.
I forgot.
Apparently, so did they.
So did everybody else. Wasn't there another women's fatal 4-way on SmackDown this week? Like
no, it was a tag match. It
Oh,
was
the
a
tag
tag
match.
match.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was the main event? Was that triple? Was it?
Main event was
I saw Shinsuke and Jey Uso.
It was Shinsuke, Boogs, and Balor versus the Usos and Austin Theory, and Austin Theory pinned Finn Balor
again,
and then Corbin and they did happy talk. Drew came out, got his sword back, and that was it.
Sorry, this is not the build to WrestleMania I want to see, and I know me and Pride had this debate over and over again, but it's either we either get 2 nights of WrestleMania or we get an 8-hour long ass show.
They can just be disciplined and do 4 hours.
Yeah, but
they need to be more disciplined.
But you know, out of the 3 things we said, the one thing that is 99.9% is not going to happen is them being disciplined. If that was the case, you can be disciplined on these 2 shows. There's no. This is the most thrown together, one of the most thrown together WrestleMania cards, and right now we're at the point where that should even be, because I've seen plenty of people talk about how the WrestleMania card from like WrestleMania 6 was filler, WrestleMania. Well, I'm like, but those, first of all, fine, those were filler, and those matches didn't last long because WrestleMania 6 had like a 14 match card, but. Other than that, though, once again, WrestleMania is completely different now. It has grown. There are more TV shows to flesh out storylines out than there was back in the day. There is. And right now, for a card to be thrown together like this, there is no excuse. There's no excuse why Bobby Lashley should be in the position he's in. There is no excuse why Drew McIntyre is in the position he is in. There's no excuse that why, Big E is in the position he is in, unfortunately. There's no excuse why, Sasha and Naomi are not featured more prominently on the card. There is no excuse for these things. And like I said, most of these that you're going to get out of here are going to be Raw matches at best. So there is no excuse for, because right now the only build up, like the 2 things that people are most excited for, minus AJ and Edge, which is like the let's get comfortable match, is 2 superstars that we haven't even seen yet. Stone Cold for the KO segment, which is not even a match. It's going to be a brawl. And Cody Rhodes coming for Seth Rollins. That's it. So, but I know Q-Flow, in your Discord group that you invited me and prior to last time, which thank you again. That was very fun. Mm-hmm. For the Royal Rumble, your boy Kenny. So I would give a shout out to Kenny guys right now. Wanted to join us for a prediction, his WrestleMania predictions, and unfortunately, he couldn't get on because we did them last week already. Guys said we gonna do them early, including the rumor matches at that time, but not anymore. It also is the New Day versus like the 1910 Street Fighters like on that card now too, or is that or is that just hearsay?
I don't know, but he has that in his predictions.
Okay. I'm gonna just say that if that's a match, then that's foul because Ricochet can't get a match or Finn Balor can't get a match. But we got a match that is meaningless. All right.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. So, Q-Flow, you said your man sent the predictions. So I'm curious to hear.
Yeah, shout out my guy Kenny, No Town Hero. So this is his. Yeah. That's his Twitch name. So here's his predictions for WrestleMania Night 1. For Charlotte versus Ronda, he has Ronda winning.
Okay.
Becky versus Bianca, he has Becky winning.
Oh, I
Seth Rollins,
so we can fight over that one.
Yeah, right. Seth Rollins versus mystery opponent, he has the mystery opponent winning. We all know it's gonna be Shane McMahon. Ray and Dominic.
Why you playing when his music hit? Y'all gonna all be disappointed.
First of all, you almost got me with the April Fool's. I said, wait a minute. That's why I don't look at no videos on April 1st.
Wait, what you do, Prom?
I told him that Cody backed out, which he did, backed out of the match, and I was like, it's gonna either, and it's not Shane.
I see. He said, "Who it is, you're not gonna like." I'm just like, at first I was like, "That's not." I said, and then Prom started falling over his lie, and I was like, "Hey, something ain't right with this." I don't even listen to what shit he said.
I don't even know what you mean. I fell over my lie. What did I say?
Oh, okay, because I'm actually gonna pull it up right here of what you said in the lie. Because actually, I got the phone right here.
What he said.
So, he texted me this morning, and then he was just like, Cody battled the Mania match like 2 days ago, and we did not talk about that. I said, yeah, but it was a rumor, other rumor to throw us off the set. He said, no, he's not facing Cody. I'm actually not going to say who he's facing. I think he'll probably feud with Cody maybe. And I was like,
yeah, after I meant Cody after.
I said, why the hell I thought we get trolled? And then he said, seriously though, Cody did back out, and it'll probably be Shane or somebody, but shoulder shrug. I'm like, how's it gonna be Shane when you just told me in the beginning it ain't Shane?
Because at the beginning I was kidding, and then at the end I was serious. That's why.
And I was like,
at the beginning I was like, oh, it's not Shane, and then at the end I was like, yeah, it probably is Shane or somebody. Whatever.
As soon as he said Shane or TAKER, I was just like, he said, I want to act like I said I'm going to act like I didn't just see what you just said. So
but, I mean, when we see later tonight, I mean, hey, it could be TAKER.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be Cody, y'all. Look, it's fine. But go ahead, Q Flow.
All right. So yeah, he got the mystery opponent winning. Mysterio's versus Miz and Logan Paul. He got Miz and Logan winning via Dominic turning heel. Drew versus Corbin. He got Drew. Usos versus Shinsuke and Boogs. He got the Usos. New Day versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus. He has Ridge Holland and Sheamus.
That sounds about right if that match is happening.
Yeah, and then we got the KO show. Night 2. Lesnar versus Roman. He got Roman. Bobby versus Omos. He got Omos winning via DQ. He couldn't pick for Edge and AJ. Knoxville versus Sammy. He got Sammy winning. I still feel like the Jackass crew is going to try and jump him. McAfee versus Theory. He got Theory winning. RK Bro versus the Street Profits and Alpha Academy. He got the Street Profits winning. And for the women's tag match, he got Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan winning.
Okay. I mean, I agree about good 85% of his picks.
I'm not mad.
Yeah, we'll see how these days turn out because so. I mean, it's like I said, right now, a lot of filler. There's not things to get hyped, but you know what? I'm hoping that the matches at least delivers because that could be something to look forward to. I'm guessing. But moving on, guys, to the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2022. Now, what their great idea this year was to have it right after Smackdown, and me and Prime was talking about this off air. I personally agree that I don't like it being after Smackdown because then when you had to sit there for a 2-hour show, maybe a 3-hour show because you had like an hour main event or NXT Level Up, whatever the fuck they do, and then you had to wait an extra half an hour for the actual Hall of Fame to start. So that means whether you get concessions or whatever the case may be, you stretching because you can't leave the arena and come back in. So whatever you're doing, then you gotta wait half an hour, then you come back to the seats, and then the Hall of Fame was end up being 2 hours, which by the way is a short Hall of Fame compared to the other years, but it's just 2 hours after a 2-hour Smackdown and a half an hour break in between. So that's a long time. If it just came on as this regular Hall of Fame at 8 o'clock, it'll be easier, more tolerable to deal with. To be honest, so that's one of the things. But this year's class, we actually have a solid class. We have the Undertaker's the headliner. We have Vader. We have Queen Charmeleon. We have the Steiners, and we have Shad Gaspar accepting the Warrior Award. So
the spirit and the compassion of the Warrior.
You know what? Not today. Because you know what? They had a good speech, and I was like, just put a Crime Time hat over that trophy, and we good to go. But and so before I get into a lot of things I did like about this Hall of Fame ceremony, because one, I'm like, this is a class I can get used to. This reminded me of the 2013 class, which is a very powerful class. It had Mick Foley, Booker T, Trish Stratus, Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, and former president. So I was like, I can get into that. It was a tight class, and everybody had enough time to have a great speech, stuff like that. And we understand Undertaker's going to get the most time, but I enjoyed how, what the class looked like. What I did not enjoy still is the setup. I can't get with this setup, man. I don't like the half, the cut off one side of the ring, because it just looks too gimmicky to me.
I mean, it's wrestling.
No, but see, here's the thing, though. I mean, like, even with it being pro wrestling, I'm just like, the way they had the Hall of Fame ceremony, where they set up the podium that looks like an actual ceremony. Where they have the big podium, they have the blue carpet up there with the stairs, they have the red carpet, they have everybody, they have a whole sitting area reserved for the wrestlers and their plus ones. And then
when the last time we seen that? The Dudleys?
The last 2018 was the last time they had like that. It's a ceremony. It's just like, when the Academy Awards, it's like, okay, yeah, sure. It's acting, so that, but it's the prestigious awards. It happens every year, and it's the same thing. How they should treat award shows. It's a formal event. It should be a formal event where you go and accept. You get your trophies, and you get to get to honor the people who are being honored at this very year. And
I'm so surprised at Vince that he didn't have somebody come up and stop somebody.
You know what?
I am too, actually.
I was like, I didn't know if he was going to do that, or if Booker T was going to say, keep my wife's name out your mouth. Like, I didn't know which way it was going to go. I already know Matt Caster
Corey already did it.
Well, yeah, Corey did that. Max Caster already said it. I mean, so we got our references, obviously. But,
yeah.
So, if he wanted to do it, if he was had a good creative mind, if this was like 1998, and that would have happened. So, what I'm saying? That we could have a storyline going into WrestleMania 19.
Yeah, well, I know this is an award show, so I'm like, it's different because it's an actual award show technically, rather than just a regular Raw SmackDown.
But the reason I said it, but now with that formal event taken away, you had the superstars sitting up on the fucking Titantron or up there where the stage is at. So there's even less seats, okay, for people to be up there with their plus ones. And then
usually they do be in the stands and stuff, but they couldn't this year obviously because it was at the SmackDown, so they just put them on the stage.
Exactly. I'm just like, first of all, they deserve more than that shit. I'm sorry. And then they get into the ring and the ropes look loose, which they are because it's not sturdy.
Yeah, because it's 3 corners.
Yeah,
instead of 4.
So I'm saying, in other words, it just looks the presentation is all about optics. Even Undertaker was talking about the optics. It talk about the presentation, and the presentation just looks shitty. And even in 2019, when they first started doing that, cause even prior, I was like, I don't know if I like the setup. I'm like, it takes away the whole form. It just looks like I'm watching a fucking Raw SmackDown. Talk about some. It feels more like the fucking Slammy Awards than the actual Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. I was like, okay, the Slammy Awards is a joke. It's a show to boost ratings. It don't mean shit. It's the fucking Slammies. I don't give a fuck about that.
The Slammies used to be an actual award show.
It used to be back in
until they actually put it on. Until they put it on Raw. Well, yeah, it used to be.
But it used to be an actual award show.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of like comparing the BET Awards to the NAACP Awards. Of how, cause they used to treat the BET Awards better, but they don't now. But that's what it feels like. To the point where it's like, okay, the Slam is just a fucking joke, but the Hall of Fame we take seriously. Because whether we can argue until we turn blue in the face who deserves to be in there and who doesn't, but the way they handled it, the way they are, be very formal about it, the way they're allowed to come back and tell their stories and their inductees and things like that, I'm just like, it's losing that feeling right there. It feel even something as much as the Hall of Fame feels thrown together. Remember, I always used to say that, WWE is lazy until WrestleMania season, but now WrestleMania season starting to feel lazy. Because you can look back at all these years, but when it comes to Royal Rumble to WrestleMania, it's like I will be on my A game because that's the WrestleMania season, and we usually have a decent Rumble going into a decent Mania, and it's like, okay, I'm cool. And then we actually have some fucking storyline build, and then after Mania is over, they don't give a shit for the rest of the year. But that's the only time of the year I can depend on them not being lazy. And then now it's carrying over to WrestleMania weekend where it's lazy. And when I say it's lazy, it's because look at it. You put you got a WrestleMania Smackdown, which is really like your WrestleMania pre-show, because you put Ricochet on there, you put the the Battle Royal on there.
Listen to that, what you just said. Here's the IC title and this pre-show work. That's terrible.
It is terrible because the Intercontinental Championship wasn't even defended on WrestleMania. It's since last year.
You just say the Battle Royal. You said you got Ricochet on there. Like, God.
Yeah. But it's unfortunate, and then now we got a 2-hour pre-show for what? Why do we need a 2-hour pre-show on both fucking nights? And it just takes a. I used to. It just like it felt like the wrestling Oscars. It felt like the prestige moment for this bit. It felt like how they do the ESPYs now for football or something like that, or how they do the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's just like you get to this prestigious moment at the end of the year and you honor those, and it feels like a good moment. I like watching those things. I like hearing the stories. I like seeing people that were a killer, in their business all their career, and now they get emotional. And I like.
Shout out Manu Ginobili.
Say what?
Shout out Manu Ginobili.
He's going to the Hall of Fame this year?
Yes.
With who else? Who else is in that class?
Tim Hardaway, Swing Cash.
Whoa, Tim Hardaway just got in there too? I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yes, and George Karl.
Okay, basketball head over here. Because, they kind of banned Tim Hardaway for a while. So, to hear...
Yeah, I was surprised he wasn't in there. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was that homosexual comment that he made.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of, blackballed him. But then, I'm finally glad to see that he's finally going to go in. So, he been working towards that. But anyway, so... That's the reason why I had a problem with the setup. But when it came to Hall of Fame itself, I enjoyed it. You still had the the opening and stuff like that, and we started with the Steiner Brothers, being inducted by, of course, Braun Breaker. So Braun Breaker comes out there, and he inducts his dad and his uncle. I was a little upset that we didn't come out to Scott Steiner's music or Rick Steiner's music. We came out to that old '80s Steiner Brothers music.
Holler if you hear me.
Oh yeah, I was hoping for that, but I did like that he asked, "We're all my freaks,"
I thought he was going to break into a math equation.
I was kind of winning the math promo also. To be completely honest with you, I was kind of winning the math.
Or
promo
at least
also.
hint at it. I'm good with my math.
Oh yeah, so
at least just give a hint.
And I was wondering if he was going to say some outrageous shit because it's Scott Steiner. He has had things to say about the Hall of Fame before, but having him in there, I was like, okay, it was cool that Rick Steiner down there. Obviously, they both think they're families and things like that. I didn't get the chance to hear in detail what they said because this is the time my daughter was really, ramping it up, and I was like, I can't read. And then I had the subtitles on Peacock, but the subtitles blend into the white podium they had, so I couldn't see nothing.
Mm-hmm.
As I hate when that happens, but great to see the Steiner Brothers go in. After the Steiner Brothers, we got Queen Charmeleon. Now here's the thing. I know we was ramming on Charmeleon for going in, but the video package and the respect that she got from her peers and how sharp she was looking,
mm-hmm.
I ain't mad.
I'm still mad. I don't care.
You just gonna be mad because you gonna be a Grinch. I was like, look.
No, I mean, look. I'm saying her presentation was good and all that. Obviously, they got to make her look good for she's in the Hall of Fame, but I still don't think she deserves. I'm sorry. I still don't think she deserves to be in it. But then again, it's all imaginary anyway, so who cares?
But here's the thing, and look, if you be real, the world's be a better place. The problem is, we as wrestling fans do care. We keep saying it's imagination, it's a man's mind, so who cares? We care every single year, or it wouldn't be a problem. And when we hear names like Great Khali, Coco Beware, you know, those kind of names, it's just like, why the hell are they even in the Hall of Fame before, you know, such things. Which these people are going to get in the Hall of Fame eventually, but we know that this is a part of Vince McMahon's mind. He does the Hall of Fame, and Bam is part of WrestleMania weekend. That's what it is. And we just invested in it. That's what it is. I'll be invested in it. I know this shit don't mean nothing. I mean, I would like for them to actually have a fucking building and make a Hall of Fame. But they ain't there yet. I mean, they really have the money to do it. They really can buy land and make a Hall of Fame building and do it that way. But that's just what it is. But when it comes to, like, look, has Charmeleon, was she the best wrestler? No, she was terrible. But she was a good manager.
Charmeleon wrestled?
You know Charmeleon wrestled. Okay, so when it came to, of course, she wasn't the best wrestler. Of course, you know, she's not gonna be known for that. But she was a good manager. She was very pretty. She was a Nitro girl. So you know, and I'm just saying, and like I said, and she kind of already acknowledged that her career ain't nothing without Booker T.
Yeah.
That's one thing I respect about her. I'm just like, because she ain't go up there and act like she was talking like she was Trish Stratus.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't up there talking like she was Lita or Beth Phoenix or Molly Holly or Ivory or Jacqueline. That ain't who she was.
You know why?
Why?
All right, let me stop being mean. All right, keep going.
I was just saying, yeah, but you know,
I don't like this anti-black women hate you got going on, bro.
It's not. First of all,
I know. Really.
Oh, I was about to say, there's plenty of other people they could have put in there. That's all I'm saying.
But the way, I mean, if she may not be on the same level, but the way I look at it is like a Miss Elizabeth.
I mean,
Miss Elizabeth is in the Hall of Fame, and if you want to argue like a legit argument point, what did she really do other than be her Macho Man's manager? She's just popular.
No, I'm gonna say, as I was gonna say to your point, I think your what you say people should go in the Hall of Fame. I think it should be that, but then add a manager, and she will be the manager spot.
Yeah, so it's like they put her in as she was a big part of that King Booker thing. Like I said,
I just wish somebody else would have went in with her. That's all.
Yeah, she was a big part of that
King Booker.
Of that
manager,
whole King Booker reign.
Manager wise, yes, but I'm saying for her as the only woman is kind of like,
I mean,
that's all I'm wrong the wrong way about. That's it. But
I know. Now here's the thing though. But if it was like Crystal Marshall, then I'm with you on all the hate. If it's like Crystal, because Crystal didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, okay, she was just there. Okay, and it was just like,
and didn't have babies with Bobby Lashley.
So. So I was just like, other than that though, but I do respect Charmeleon for what she did, and I respect how, I love how Booker T put her on a platform.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not a.
You think he wouldn't?
Yeah, I'm saying.
You think he's gonna be in trouble when he got home?
You'd be surprised how many. But it felt genuine though. He had his kids out there, and it felt genuine. When I'm sorry to say it, but I'm going to say it. It feels genuine because when black men put their black women on a pedestal, because a lot of us don't do that, and they don't. And then I
like how he was saying, "Oh hell, Queen Charmeleon." He just kept saying it. I was like, "All right, come on," because he kept at one point. I was like, "Come on, man."
And she came out there. She looked sharp, and like I said, she got a And what I really liked about it is from her peers. Her peers that respect her, and it was like, okay, you go in there. Her speech was short. She take the kids. She had
she had a little rap too, a little,
What you say?
She had a little kind of rap thing with hers too, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. That's what I was saying. I wish I can pull up the transcript of what she actually did say, but I was like, this is beautiful, and because she said something at the end, especially when it comes to
She was like waving the hand and the glance or something. I was like, oh, okay, she spitting a little bit.
Yeah, spitting. I was like, so, it was about, and next year, hopefully, Michelle McCool, gets her time in the sun. But okay, so I think
they're gonna give it to a California person.
Yeah,
I feel like they'll get to it.
Oh yeah, she thanks people backstage. She thanks John Laurinaitis. She thanks Bruce Prichard. She said she says she's been paying it forward ever since she got her chance. She talks about how she and Booker opened the Reality of Wrestling School. Yeah, because that's been a big success also. They were tirelessly for the students, and she hopes to get them opportunities that she was given. And then she gave a shout out to her brother Ryan and her mother, who was her hero. She said this moment is as much for her mom as it is hers. She thanks their twins in the front row, and thanks them for showing her unconditional love and what unconditional truly means. And Charmeleon said after 20 years, she still gets lost in Booker's eyes, lifted by his love and everything else. So that was a beautiful moment also. She says her love for Booker knows no limits, and he is her proof that fairy tales do come true. So very nice speech by Charmeleon. So I had no problem. It was beautiful. She looked beautiful, and I almost beat my son's ass talking about stuff. She looked real old. I'm like, yeah, all right, bro. So you don't come to me talking about advice when you 30 years old getting your first girlfriend, talking some shit like that.
Well, look, to him though, she is old.
Look, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Charmeleon can still get it today. Okay, so
yeah, well, I'm saying to how old is he? About 12. To a 12-year-old, yeah. I'm old. So yes,
Then next up was the tearjerker. The box of onions came out. We gave the Warrior Award to Shad Gaspar. And it was just the videos, the video pack she put together. I was like, God, this is hurting me right now. This is wrenching my heart right now, because you just see all the videos of him and his son showing how many times they go to the beach, but in your mind you're like, is it that day? Was it that day or was not? That's how I was thinking. And just seeing how much that he just loved his son, that was like, it was touching. And then when they were about to bring out Dana Warrior, they showed the crowd. There were just people in the front row that just didn't care. They was just already crying. Like, this is emotional. So Dana Warrior comes out, and I get it. Look, because I was like JTG also, but however, Dana Warrior gets out the award every year. We know that because it's the Warrior Award. So that was going to happen. But she was up there, and she just looked like she wasn't all there. Like, she was shaking a little bit, and I was just like, is she okay? Is she all right? I want to make sure she cool, to be honest with you, but kind of scared me a little bit. But she brought out Shad's son, and his wife. How do you pronounce his wife's name? Celiana?
So, I honestly forgot.
Okay, and and his son was it Aryeh.
Look, you be trying to get these names we don't know, man. I can't tell you. You know. I'm pretty sure she came up with the name. So.
I say, well, I was just like, man, I'm not gonna get. They come out with JTG. I was like, I'm glad to see him there at least, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They come out with JTG, and at first his son was like, all like, let me not look at nobody, let me not look at the camera because it looked like I give that boy so much credit because he could have broke any time. He could, and I was like, I will break easily. And he was brave and he was strong and he came out there because that's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to do. Okay, and even if he didn't say it, it's just hard to do. I'm glad JTG went up there with him. Then they did the whole Crime Time thing. I thought that was dope. Seeing that. Then his wife was talking about the person that Shad was, and you could tell that she was trying to hold it back. Also, she kept asking her son if he was okay. I was just like, oh yeah, they going through it up there, and I don't blame them at all. And she talks about Shad's selfless act, at the end, and also about him stopping that robbery and body slamming the guy that we all seen on video, and taking the gun, and then talking about how he wouldn't save them dogs. That's why I took you like, damn, Shad, what the hell? This man jumped in the Batmobile and just went off and just saved these dogs from somebody who kidnapped these dogs for 2 miles. Like, yo, this man is just like instant hero gene. Instant hero gene. And I was just like, wow, I didn't know about that. They didn't show too much of like the wrestlers in the crowd in the back, because I wanted to see people who were really close with Shad. I know Natalia was close with him. John Morrison was close, but he's not there anymore. I know Tyson Kidd was there because Natalia was there because I know he was close with him. And I wanted to see more of the wrestlers' reaction kind of thing, but they did not focus the camera on them at all.
Yeah, they didn't even show JTG when she mentioned him in the little chase.
That's what I'm saying.
In the convenience store.
Oh, no. Did she mention him saying, Jason, and you didn't do anything?
Yeah, but I'm saying they didn't even show him on camera when she said Jason was there.
Yeah, because it was a job. I was like, they were just like focused on. I don't know what Kevin Dunn was doing, but they were so focused on just them two, and I was just like, are y'all like? I don't know if you're trying to sell the emotion, like y'all want him to cry, whatever the case would be. I'm like, but it would have been cool to see his peers just be human, be emotional, or be happy, or laughing, whatever the case may be. Like, I would have loved to see MVP if he was there. I'm not saying he had to talk, but I would have loved to see those people that truly cared about Shad, because let's just be real. Other than the incident, a lot of the people that's in the crowd don't even know who Crime Time was. Because Crime Time was 2006 or 2009. So they don't know who Crime Time is. They just know about this guy who used to wrestle, and he died saving his son. Like,
you talking about the young fans? How old do you think these people are?
Say what?
How old do you think these people are?
I'm trying. Even if you're a teenager, if they can't.
What I'm saying, I'm saying, this is WrestleMania season. This is where all the older people go to Raw SmackDown finally.
Yeah.
So it's probably gonna be more people that know that don't know. That's all.
Fair enough. I would give you that. Me personally, well, I'm not saying it was bad. The speech was good, and and she, told her son about how there are wolves and sheep's and dogs, and for him, he's a sheepdog. Because at times, the definition of a sheepdog is as follows: sheepdogs protect flocks of sheep from wolves by combining elements of both sheep and wolf, empathetic to others, but they also understand violence and aggression, but know how to use that aggression to protect others. And she said that was a true definition of Shad. And she says she wants her son to always know, hold your head high when they speak of your dad, because you had a badass dad. And anybody would be lucky to have a dad like that. And then she said she want to leave that one quote, leave everybody with a quote that Shad told her was, women are remembered for what they are, men are remembered for what they do. So, I wish everybody a good night. And the quiet time starts back up, and then of course the son raises the trophy in there. And I it was good. And like I said, after he was raising the trophy and everybody was clapping, crying, and they were smiling, and I was just like, I want to see the peers. That's one of the reasons why I don't like this setup, because like you can't see anybody, and you see some of the crowd, and I know to y'all it may sound like nitpicking, or y'all just don't want to be the bad guy. I have no problem, but to me, I like it becomes impersonal when I can't see that. And after it did stage like cut right.
It was
away.
Impersonal when Dana Warrior would let somebody speak.
Yeah, well, but she's going to present the award. She does it every year.
I know, but like you giving a whole speech, like chill.
She's like I said, I don't know if she's getting. She just didn't seem right up there. I don't know if if she wasn't feeling well or whatever the case may be. It just
Hey, are you trying to Warrior 2014 her?
No, I'm not trying to Warrior 2014
her. Hey, bro, come on.
Because first of all, did I not sound concerned about it? Next up, well, we know what time it is. It's time. It's time. It's Vader time. Minus how Kayla Braxton said it. She was all like, "What time is it? It's time." I was like, "Oh, stop it! Just stop talking." She was irking my. First off, I feel like I'm just talking here. How'd y'all feel about Shad's? The whole induction and everything.
Oh, I thought it was nice. I thought it was good. I just wish JTG would have said something, because
that's literally all I wanted.
Yeah, I just wish he would have said something like Brooklyn, something.
Money. Yeah.
They could have had them chanting that while they go to commercial or something. Yeah, so I don't know.
That's literally it. Besides that, though, I thought it was heartwarming. Again, like, all right, cool. I know it's Dana Warrior. She gotta do the thing. I just felt like she was talking too much for this one. Specifically because it's, what is it, posthumous? I can never get that word right. But especially because it's that type of situation, and because of who it is. So it was like, there's more people we want to hear from, and you ain't it. So I just felt like she had the mic too long. It was like his wife, I don't know. I felt like she said what she needed to say, but then like she started freestyling the rest. And it was like, yo, JTG could have gotten some bars off. Like, he could have gotten something off. But besides that, it was heartwarming. It was nice to hear, hear about the stories we all know and love. So it was cool.
Yeah, I would have. I do agree with you. I would have liked if JTG was able to say something, because that was his best friend. That was his tag team partner. For people who may not know, but like Prime said, most people do know. And when people actually see him back in there, you wanted to hear him say something.
Right.
Like, I miss you, Shad. Or like you said, the money, yeah. Or just, this ain't Hollywood, this is Hollywood. Whatever the case may be. It just, say something that, because he was clearly emotional also. But once he walked off camera, the camera never showed that. the camera, they just never showed him being emotional or even him laughing at the joke. Or it's just, even when a lot of people said jokes, I was just like, it would be great to see these people laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or great to see, because I had a lot of problems with that with the Undertaker one when he was telling the jokes. I was like, it would have been great. Hey, cameraman, it'd be great to see these people laugh. But neither here nor there.
It's the same cameraman who ain't catch Melina hit that split. But let's move on.
First of all, that's all Kevin Dunn's fault. Don't blame the cameraman. The cameraman was right up in there.
That's my cameraman. Fire him, Roman.
Yeah, that's a Kevin Dunn for you. But we go on to Vader time.
Dude, I know. Do they really need hosts though? Because it's like after it, they'll say two words that say, "Oh, that was very nice," but what's nicer? And then they go on to the next pun about the next person. It's like,
honestly, it was fine with Jerry the King Lawler was hosting it.
Nope, never mind.
Yeah,
you just changed my mind. You just changed my mind. Never mind.
You don't need two people doing it.
We don't need Jerry Lawler doing anything. So,
so I'm just saying, but when they if they want to go with one host to help things move easily, fine with me. But I'm just saying, but Kayla Braxton, it just was not the host thing, for me, and especially when she was, talking about Vader, and I was like,
they got her because she hosts the bump. She do the same thing when she hosts the bump. She be like corny and like.
Well, they had a video package on Vader. I was having Vader. I was, my sister and her boyfriend was over there. I was like, yeah. I said I've been watching Vader for a very long time, and I'm very, happy about Vader. And then okay, let me get this right. Was it his son and his wife that came out, or was it his grandson? Like I was confused of who these people were. Does anybody know? I'm reading now since nobody's saying it. It was Vader's son, his father, and his mother. It was his wife and his son. Okay, cool. Vader's wife and son comes out. It is bittersweet, but like it wasn't that hard. I mean, obviously the son goes over all of Vader's accolades and says, his biggest accolade was how great of a dad he was, and it was just, really just a run of the mill speech. And I appreciate that, but the problem is, it wasn't Vader doing it. And it hurts more because we know how much Vader just lobbied to just want to be in the Hall of Fame. And I think that was just the most shadiest shit, one of the most shadiest shits that they have done. Mick Foley and Vader.
Hey, this don't even come close, let's be honest with you.
See what?
This don't even come close to the top 20.
No, it don't come close, but still, it doesn't make it any more right. And Mick Foley and Vader said, "I'm dying, and all I want to do is go into the Hall of Fame so I can just tell my stories." He inducted Stan Hansen and did a better job inducting Stan Hansen than Stan Hansen did inducting himself.
That's crazy.
Vader's induction speech for Stan Hansen was more entertaining than Stan Hansen in general. So yes, I would have loved to see what Vader would, because I don't know if you remember seeing that one, because Stan Hansen probably just moved on, but he had the whole.
And I watched it because JBL was trying so hard to put over. That's where he got the clothesline from.
Exactly, yeah. But everybody keeps hearing about the incident about Vader getting his eye popped out in Japan, and Stan Hansen. But I like how he had the glasses that had the eyes on the spring, and they come out. Like, he was making little jokes like that, and people was eating this whole thing up. And I was like, when Stan Hansen came on, I was like, sucked it all out the room. Vader had everybody laughing, he had everybody standing up, and Stan Hansen coming there, and then just sucked it all out the room. Sucked it out the room. Same thing you said about Hillbilly Jim. Like, who want to hear Hillbilly Jim talk for 33 minutes? I'm sorry, and it's just that it was unfortunate that we didn't get a chance to hear Vader, especially when this is something that he really wanted. And it's like, yeah, you can hear his wife say, yeah, he's looking down and he's very happy, but he ain't here. You had a chance to put him in the Hall of Fame when he was here. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But they did that. They asked everybody, what time is it? They put the V's up, and it's Vader time, and then they revealed his whole Mastodon helmet. So I thought it was cool. I was hoping they had like the smoke come out and the red eyes and stuff, but it's a WWE prop. But I'm glad Vader's in the Hall of Fame. It is just bittersweet how he went there, and I know I'm the one who cares most about that. I'm a Vader fan, but that's what it is. But it's now time for the main event. It's now time for what, like everybody said, whatever y'all been waiting for.
The Undertaker.
And
should have had Teddy Long. It's like no.
Oh yeah, so obviously, they had a great video package of the Undertaker, and then Vince McMahon comes out, no chance. I said, I know probably somewhere struck, but Vince McMahon comes out, and in the ring already are 4 mannequin statues with 4 of the Undertaker personas on it, and I was like, oh, that is dope.
So when I seen that, I should have known. I should have known when I seen that.
Yeah,
I was gonna get a sermon.
But I was just like, oh snap! Okay, so I mean, now I guess the set was looking a little bit better. But then they had the purple gloves one, then they had the one when he first came with the gray gloves. They had the Phenom, which is the hat and the long leather jacket. Then they had the Ministry of Darkness one, where the sleeveless with like the back cape and all that stuff like that. I do wish to me when he first came. I
think the one with the sleeveless.
Yeah.
I think that's the one he had later in his career, I believe.
Is that Lord of Darkness from like the late Attitude Era?
No, that one in particular, because I remember I hated this. I believe WrestleMania 27, 28. Whatever the case is, it's in his later career because at one point he stopped wearing the hat, and a jacket. He went for the short sleeve, long thing with the hood on the back. But then again, that could be his attitude, everything that he just wore again too. So
that's what I'm thinking. It looks a lot like Lord of Darkness Undertaker. I still think that the gray gloves,
which after this speech, that name is kind of ironic.
I saw that the gray glove Undertaker and the purple glove Undertaker are kind of like the same almost, just different color gloves. I would have probably liked if they put maybe the American Badass or Big Evil one up there, put the bandana on the mannequin. They had
what you want, a motorcycle at ringside?
No, I'm just saying you just put the red Big Evil shirt over the mannequin, the tank top, and put the bandana on there. So then you really have a span of every era of the Undertaker.
Because, I wouldn't mind the motorcycle at the side.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. That even Lady Sketch was saying when she was watching, she said, "Well, maybe he'll come out in the American Badass attire." And I was just like,
nope.
He's not. He coming out. He is coming out in a tux. And so Vince goes off and talks about I take 30 long years this man has performed and do surgeries and everything else, and say he went through hell and back, and then he jokes that he will read the list quickly so fans don't interrupt him with the what chants. So, and he did do it. So he goes off a list of everybody that Undertaker has been in the ring with and beat, from Jimmy Snuka.
Whoa! Before you read it,
yeah,
they did start the what chants.
They did.
And he was like, "How about I have Undertaker come out here?" And he was like, "Oh, they stopped. They stopped quickly."
Yeah, oh yeah, So oh my God, look, I love Stone Cold, but that is one of the most annoying chants in the history of wrestling. I can't stand.
Hey man, it works.
I can't stand the what
worse
chant.
Worse than a 10?
Huh?
Is it worse than a 10?
No, I like the 10. You talking Ty Dillinger 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had no problem with it. I have a problem with what? What is it? It's kind of like, remember when CM Punk was doing was an interview with Stone Cold? He was like, what? What? He was like, and Stone Cold was like, God damn man, what's wrong with you? He said, yeah, it's annoying, right?
He was like, no.
Yeah.
He was like, do you want a beer? He was like, what? A beer? What?
And CM Punk was like, yeah, it's annoying, right? And he said, yeah, no, it's annoying. It was something about, he said, can you say the alphabet backwards? He said, no, if I can beat your ass backwards.
I believe, golly. It's got me choking on the food.
Oh,
nah, I think that was an episode where Stone Cold hosted Raw.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm saying because that thing was hilarious because CM Punk was just there should have been a few at that time, but so Vince goes down the list of all of the people that and I have the whole list here. He says Jimmy Snuka, Jake Roberts, Bret Hart, Giant Gonzalez, King Kong Bundy, Diesel, Sid, Kane, Boss Man, Brian Lee or Taker himself, Ric Flair, Big Show, Bill Goldberg, Rey Mysterio, Mark Henry, Kama, the Great Khali, Mabel, Yokozuna, Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles, Roman Reigns, Bret Hart, again, JBL, Booker T, Kamala, Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle, Goldust, Vader, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Shane McMahon, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, Batista, Edge, Brock Lesnar, Triple H, Steve Austin, John Cena, and The Rock.
So you mentioned Mark Henry, Goldust, but you can't mention a Big Show, but you can't mention somebody he fought at WrestleMania. All right.
Who?
CM Punk.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because first of all, I was just like, he went off and mentioned them and Bray Wyatt, and I was just like, oh snap, okay. But he's the boss. He do whatever the hell he wants to. He talked about some, him and Triple H matching shotgun Saturday night, the tombstone on the escalator. I do remember that. And he said, how Taker spent 5 hours in a cemetery under freezing weather waiting to get the right shot. He basically talking about how dedicated he was. He said WCW never bothered calling Undertaker because they knew what the answer would be. Same goes for like Sting in the WWE call. So he said he cares for like a man with leadership, a guy knows he has set an example for toughness, athleticism, discipline, and so on. And then when that's when the fans start chanting what again, he's like, I'll take you come out there and kick your asses. He said yeah, so then it's time for Mark Holloway to come out. And of course we get the whole Phenom music and everything, and I was just like me, Lady Sketch, and my sister and her boy, we was all watching, and my son, because we was all into this, and I was like, what the hell is going to happen? How's he going to come out? But I said he came out there soon. I was like, wait a minute, is that a microphone by his ear? And when he was coming out, I was just like, wait a minute, he ain't gonna do this. And then I was like, yo, dear, he got a microphone around his ear. And she said, well, he probably has that because he can't, because he's so tall, he don't want to bend down talking to the podium. I was like, and then that's when Q texted me at the exact moment when she told me that. And he was just like, yo, Undertaker came out there with the pastor mic, the preacher mic on his thing. I was like, that's what that mic is. And as soon as he started talking, he left the podium. I was like, my man went Joel Osteen mode, did he not?
Full Joel Osteen.
Yeah, I said this man is about to drop a word on y'all, like real talk. So Undertaker comes out, and first of all, the ovation, they are loud, like they are on their feet. Thank you, Taker. Everything. It had to be about a solid, almost 10 minutes before he got a word out.
Yeah, Q was like, "Can they shut up?"
I'm like, yo, shut up. Yo, Undertaker did not pull up looking like a Pentecostal preacher for y'all not to let him speak. Shut up. Son got his hair braided.
He
got his one braid. Then got all nice and clean. And y'all just wanted Undertaker. You deserve
you calling the man dirty? Dang, bro.
No, getting cleaned up doesn't necessarily mean you're dirty.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I was sitting there. I was like, because he's getting emotional. He's trying to hold it back because I was like, he heard all this like, yeah, this shit over, bro. But and they was all standing. I like how all the superstars were standing, and then after a while, they was like, all right, we're gonna stop clapping and sit back down because they drawing.
Yeah,
because right now. And yes, and believe it or not, probably that's what you was in the chat too. That's what Q did text. TAKER gets sued up for urban use, not to let him get his shit off. So, TAKER starts talking, and he talks about, for 30 years I've been identified as the Phenom, the Dead Man, the American Badass, the Taker of Souls. But tonight, I take us behind the curtain and let us meet the man under the black hat, Mark Calloway. And he said, it would have been easy to keep that man hidden till the day I died, but he wants to show the same respect that he's been shown for so many years.
Ooh, that was tough. It's like ever since, I think this is probably the first positive thing I probably heard him say since he's been not Undertaker, since he's been himself.
You said not positive thing or positive?
Bro, every interview he does. So I was like, I wish the old days were good, or we used to handle it back in the locker room, and men used to be men, or people used to play video. Like it's like everything, every interview he's done.
Oh yeah, Undertaker was hating back in the day.
Back in the day, those interviews were recent. What you mean back in the day? Yeah, so I'm glad he finally got something positive.
I mean, it'd be so. To me, it's like Undertaker. I think he's so old school to the point. Like I truly believe, like the stuff that he was saying out his mouth, it was a very nice speech or presentation, however you want to do it. But
it was a sermon.
Sermon.
Yeah, it was a really nice sermon. But it's just like when he get mad, it's just like fuck this, man. We could have did this shit back in the all that kind of stuff. First of all, talks about his love for the business, and he wants to thank the W Universe first, and the motivation he needed to pull off main nights in the training room and stuff like that. And then he talks about graduating school, and then he was playing basketball back at the time. He said, should he go overseas to play basketball, or should he go and try this wrestling thing out? He knew his parents wasn't going to be for that, and he knew the basketball team wasn't going to be for that as well. But he said he just could not get that wrestling out of his mind. So he was really for that. He said it was a tough road. The whole same wrestling stories that living out your car, not knowing when your next meal going to be, but they want to be wrestlers, and this is what they are training to do. They go then he said, but he respected his parents so much he didn't want to disappoint them, but he couldn't live his life for what they wanted, and he had to find an identity and be accountable for his own actions. His dream led him to become the Undertaker. Then he said, but we all know my moves: the Tombstone, the Last Ride. But tonight he's going to reveal some of his mental moves. Okay, y'all ready for the 3 mental moves that he's going to?
This one I knew it turned into a sermon.
Because he was just like, he's like, here you go. I was just like, oh, it's basically just saying like, can I get an amen? So
right. They gotta make all these points, man. I ain't gonna be before you long. And proceed for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I know. Take your time, Pastor. Take your time. So he said Dave was taping TV in Rochester, New York, early in his career. He worked in a squash match. Oh, excuse me. An enhancement match.
Enhancement match.
He was working with this kid who was more nervous than Taker could imagine getting his only shot on TV. And he says the guy messed up on his own moves, so Taker started working him over, and Taker went to the back, and then Vince was upstairs. Vince was upset standing there and told him perception is reality, and the reality is that everyone in the arena, and everyone backstage thinks that Taker is an asshole. And he says from that moment he knew Vince was right. Taker isn't proud of his actions that night. I said, ironic, we talking about this now, ain't we? After this past week. And he had to learn the hard way that perception really is reality. That became the first mental move, okay? And then he says, perception, he thinks of perception, he can't help but think of, Stephanie McMahon. He says she isn't as big of a brat off screen. She's actually bigger. He often thought of her as the little sister he never wanted. And then he said, but I'm stuck with you now. But in all seriousness, he loves her and the family. He didn't forget about Shane and talking about their time on the road and how Shane wore him out wanting to do big moves in his matches. Then Taker brings up the Godfather, which I knew he was going to have to bring him up. And he says, he said he was an influence. He didn't say he was a good influence, but he was an influence. They've been friends for over 30 years. Drunk gallons of Jack Daniels together, fought for hats and watches, you name it. But Taker always knew that Godfather had his back. And then he also brings up BSK. I was hoping he'd bring up the Bone Street Crew, which was Savio Vega, Godfather, Rikishi Yokozuna, the Goodwins, I believe, was part of the Bone Street Crew. So, and he talked about Yokozuna helping found that. Talked about Bryan Adams and how he called him down to Florida and they was like crushing cinder blocks with their hands, and then Bryan Adams 3 weeks later died. So that was one of the most painful things that he phone calls that he received in his life. And then he brings up Paul Bearer and he pours it in, and then he said how he used to rib him, and this was the prime time until he came out and he says, who puts cucumbers in a man's drink? No man have a drink cucumbers, but that man does. So
wait, real quick, was Crush in the group too?
I don't know, because he has his Bone Street Crew, but he has like his side people that he's like really also cool with. Remember when they came up again and they was in the club and then Booker T was there? I was like, he wasn't part of BSK.
Yes, I don't know, because he gave Crush like a whole 2 minutes. I was like, maybe Crush was in the Bone Street Crew. Still right after he said Bone Street Crew, so I was like, I'm surprised he didn't give Yokozuna like something either. So
I mean, he did give Yokozuna a lot of credit. He brought Yokozuna's picture up, and he talked about how he was the co-founder of the Bone Street Crew.
Yeah.
He gave Yokozuna his flowers.
But then right after Yokozuna, I think it was Crush. So that's what I was saying. He was crushing it too. So I don't know.
And then Paul Bearer. So, but he brings up Hall of Famer Kane, and then he said the greatest story in wrestling ever told. And then he said he stretched out the years of Brothers of Destruction. He said Kane is one of the most genuine persons he ever known. He jokes about and he says, oh, I'm sorry, he wants to go by Mayor now. He said, don't get tight, bro, don't get tight. I ain't getting mad at you, you stole all my moves. And I was like, oh, burn. That was cool, that was funny, because Kane definitely just was like the Undertaker 2.0. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna use
the red Taker.
That wasn't his fault. Yeah, that wasn't Kane's fault.
Yeah. I mean, okay, real talk, who has a better tombstone, Kane or Undertaker?
Undertaker.
Undertaker has a better tombstone. Kane has a way
Kane's better
chokeslam.
Chokeslam, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, well, real quick, I will say I like the way that Kane does his tombstones. Like he don't like go on his tippy toes. He just drops.
He just dropped right down on his knees. Yeah.
Yeah, Undertaker goes on his tippy toes, so that's the only difference. But I'll give that to Taker still, because he does it. He does it where it looks effortlessly, and then Kane does chokeslam. So obviously we know why that's his finisher. So
right.
He said now, out of all that, time for the second mental move, okay? But he said there was 3. So the second mental move, which you learned over a piece of cornbread.
Sorry, real quick. Before you get to that, because he's kind of done talking about the wrestlers for now. Did you know Mick Foley's daughter got mad because he didn't mention her dad?
You know what? To be real with you though, I do believe he should have mentioned Mick Foley, because Mick Foley was Undertaker's greatest rival.
He almost died.
Yeah.
Mick Foley, you know, because he mentioned Triple H. He mentioned Shawn Michaels, obviously. He even mentioned the fucking Godfather. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Well, Godfather's his best friend, though.
I know in BSK, but I was like, and he mentioned Kane, and I was like, though Kane, Triple H, Shawn have been in some of the biggest Undertaker matches, but Undertaker's biggest rival, the one that made that brought Undertaker to the real dark side, was Mick Foley. And usually people keep just thinking about Mick Foley was the one that Undertaker just threw off the Hell in the Cell and like beat him to shit. I'm like, y'all forgetting about 1996. He like, remember when Mankind first came with, you know, brown suit Mankind, when he first came, and because at that time Undertaker was dominant in everything, and then Mankind was the only one that came and challenged him. Paul Bearer turned on the Undertaker, and then went with Mankind, and that was the first time Undertaker was truly tested. And they had, how many matches in '96? From the Boiler Room Brawl to the Buried Alive to the, you know, the No Holds Barred to the, you know, just the regular one-on-one matches, going into '97, and then, you know, having Hell in a Cell in '90. That's actually one of the greatest rivalries in wrestling between Undertaker and Mankind. So, as you know, that's being her dad, I can understand her being a little upset, like, because, you know, it'd be different if it was like somebody say, how come Undertaker didn't mention Booker T? I mean, even though he did, but I'm just saying, but out of all the names he did mention, and he actually made space to mention, I would have liked for him to say something about Mick Foley, because Mick Foley was a huge part of his career. It's kind of like if when Tues goes into the Hall of Fame by himself and he doesn't mention Mick Foley made Triple H into a main eventer. He took Triple H to that next level with that street fight at Royal Rumble and that Hell in the Cell and No Way Out. He put Triple H on that next level, and he deserves respect for that. Mick Foley is more just a crash test dummy, you know, and he does not get that necessarily that respect that he deserves a lot of times, stuff like that, because of that. But I'm like, but as the Undertaker, as Mankind being Undertaker's greatest rival, I personally would have mentioned Mick Foley. Anybody else feel a certain way? Or just...
Yeah, I would have mentioned.
Well, it didn't matter to me.
I would have mentioned though.
Why didn't it matter to you, bro?
Because it's his speech. I'm like, some people gonna have to get left out. I didn't mind that.
I'm gonna call bullshit there right now. Because
what
if one of your guys, I'm not gonna say no names because, you know, on a wrestling podcast, but if one of your guys was doing an acceptance speech and they didn't mention a certain person, whether it be Brooke or whether,
I'm gonna tell you right now, they know to mention Brooke or it ain't gonna be pretty. That's the only person probably. Brooke ain't wild.
I'm just saying, but if there's something that you know impacted their life, I've heard you sit there and you know, talk about less. Okay, and talk about something, you know, because you're a stickler for detail. So this is right up your wheelhouse, being a stickler for detail. So if somebody mentioned somebody that you know was impactful in this person's career, you would have said something.
Yeah, but also, he did have 32 years. I'm pretty sure he picked who he wanted to pick, and it's like somebody got to get left off. I don't know. That's how I feel like. I mean, if it was up to me, I would have just mentioned the BSK and not went into a 2-minute spiel on Crush and Yoko, and then put them in there somewhere like that. But
well, I'm just saying, but even the speech he gave, I'm not saying he had to take a whole nother chapter to add to his sermon. I'm just saying if he just went by the pot and say, you know what, after he mentioned, because see, Triple H got a minute and a half, if that long, Shawn Michaels, he stayed on Shawn Michaels for about 2 minutes. He stayed on Kane for about a minute. Like, these guys that he talked about and thanked, he didn't stay on them for no more than 2 minutes. So even just giving Mick Foley 30 seconds is understandable. So, I mean, in other words, I say it's his speech. You can do whatever he wants to. I'm not saying I'm mad about it, but I'm saying, but I can empathize with Nicole of why she would be upset.
Yeah.
I can empathize with her. Like, if she...
Nicole?
Noelle?
Oh, shit. I said Nicole. Noelle. Excuse me.
Wait a second.
My bad. I can empathize with Noelle if she's upset because her dad wasn't mentioned, because her dad played a huge part in Mark Calloway's career.
He almost
and then
died.
She went back and corrected it and said, well, you know what? My dad didn't even mention my mom in his speech, so I guess, things happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, like shit happens. So personally, am I mad? No. But I can understand if she's upset. That's all I'm saying. But he said the second mental move, he learned a piece of cornbread, and he just won his second WWE title. He was eating a plate of red beans and rice. He said, "Come on now, red beans. Y'all know about that red beans and rice." I was like, shout out to the red beans and rice.
It's like he looked to the. Can I get an amen?
That's what that was. Can I get an amen on that red beans and rice? Like shit, that I can see that being in Popeyes memes coming up in the next week. Y'all know about that red beans and rice at Popeyes, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the only place. That's the main place I get it. Get the Taker red beans and rice aroni.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, you see, he said he was trying to get him to do the Taker Rooney.
Oh yeah, I was getting.
When he mentioned that, I thought he was gonna do it. I thought he was gonna say for years I put this off. I'm gonna do it. I thought.
Nah, I think you gonna do it. Not in that suit.
Somebody say not in that suit with that microphone. You hear him breathing all hard, and I'm good. And he said,
I thought you would have heard he doing the spins.
He'd be like, "Oh shit!" But he said, his dad asked, "Was he paying his taxes?" He said he was. And he said his dad asked, "Was he living beneath his means?" And he said he was. His dad said, "Because the toes you step on the way to the top are connected to the same ashes you'll have to kiss on your way back down. Can I get an amen?" That's what he was looking for. I was just like, dang. He said his dad instilled in him right then that no matter who he comes across, treat them with respect. Taker realized that he said that I may be the world champion, but I'm no different from the security guard or the catering workers. You never know.
All right, come on now.
What's wrong?
How you gonna give a whole sermon and then over here lying like that? Come on, man. He
said you never know what kind of handshake smile can change someone's life or even save it. He said that was the second mental move that helped him anchor his true identity. Respect and loyalty goes a long way. And look, I agree with it.
You talking about this man, the judge of wrestlers court? This guy is the guy that treats every single body with respect. All right, come on.
No, I was about to say I enjoy the quote, but I've agreed with prior to. I'm just like, come on now, bro. We ain't going like we perfect here.
Hey man, who's the new judge of wrestlers court? Roman Reigns?
I don't think they have it no more because they play video games and just chill in the back. They don't bring knives to work anymore.
I mean, CM Punk kind of exposed. Remember, you called that small white dick energy.
Yeah.
CM Punk.
Yeah, they don't bring knives to work anymore, so I don't think they need to.
So yeah, all that he got. I don't know if they still have it, but then he said, speaking of loyalty, he thought of the extreme honor to step in the ring to perform, and he thinks guys like Dusty Rhodes, Bruno Sammartino, Harley Race, Bret Hart, Ric Flair, and others for paving the way for his generation and the generation to come. Then he brings up Terry Jackson and talks about I was like, I don't know who Terry Jackson is. Then he brings up Bruce Pritchard.
You don't know Terry Jackson?
Who's Terry Jackson?
Terry Jackson?
No, is he next to Andre Chase? Like, I don't know who these.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know who that is.
No, I don't know who that is either.
Bruce Pritchard, who advocated for him, and then he talks about people who like Terry Anderson, who was the woman responsible for all his iconic looks.
No, and, Terry Jackson is the coach. By the way, sorry.
Oh, Terry Anderson. Oh, well, Terry Anderson is the woman responsible about this. I think she's the seamstress. Like, I don't know who seamstress is, because I was like, I don't know who the main one is, because I see so many different ones on different documentaries. I'm like, because I was like, isn't it Makazi?
No, Taker had the same. Taker only had that one.
Oh, okay.
Like Makazi, I think he only does Sasha stuff.
Damn, yeah.
And then the other lady that used to be there, Sandra,
the black lady.
She's in AEW. Yeah, she's in AEW now, but she used to do all of the Divas gear. So
no, she did. She used to do Shawn Michaels pants.
No, that's another lady.
Oh, Lord, I'm about to say Lord knows. And then he
Shawn Michaels want whoever do his gear to be saved. Come on now.
Taker. About the amazing dodges he had to put it back together, and then he said, but his final most significant mental move, y'all ready for the third one, right? Comes into play the day before WrestleMania 25, when he faced Shawn Michaels. He recalls sitting and talking to Shawn about the match. He turned to Michael Hayes and asked,
"Keep going. Okay. I got some things to say."
What spot they were in? Hayes made an uncomfortable pause and told her that they were on third and had around 15 minutes. And take a look at Shawn. Shawn used to think he's like, all right, well, we're already at the levels of the career we had nothing to prove, but it was WrestleMania, and this was an insult. And Taker says after a lot of hell raising, this spot was moved to later in the show and ensured that they got a little bit more time left in this show. And so, what was you gonna say, Brian?
I'm about to say, you really think on a card with Jimmy Snuka, Ricky Steamboat, they had 20 minutes, I believe. You mean to me Undertaker Shine only had 15 minutes? Is that true? Is that true? Is this from the early stages? Like not the day of or the day before? Is this like early, like in January when they was discussing this, or what?
I don't know that one. He does.
Because I'm just all right. Let's just say they go 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
What other match takes the time?
The only other match I can see that will probably take the time, which it probably don't need, is the Extreme Rules between brother versus brother.
Yeah, okay. They made the right decision. Yes,
yeah. I'm like, yeah, they made it. I'm glad they raised fucking hell, because he said nobody wanted to follow us today. I was like, you're right, y'all.
Sorry. I was gonna say, which also don't make sense, because the year before Shawn Michaels put on the classic with Flair, and then Taker put on the classic with Edge. So I don't understand that method of they only got 15 minutes. What do you mean? Now he didn't have to go Edge level. They don't have to go 40 like when Taker came back.
Yeah.
When Taker came back to fight Triple H in them Saudi shows, that should have been your 15 minutes. Not 40. We didn't need 45 minutes for all that. But yeah.
But no, I agree. I was like, yeah, you're not gonna put him there for 15 minutes. So they talk about a lot of hell raising, so they finally got the match, and then everybody followed them was already mad. And so he said, the other mental move is never be content, which is how he tries to live his life every single day, to live by to dream big and always be bigger, never be afraid to fail. So he brings WrestleMania 27, 28, the whole matches with Triple H, and then he talks about Triple H and how he gave him the confidence when he was at his lowest point in his career, to let him remember who the hell he was. The same that Triple H did to Ric Flair, so he gives Triple H his flowers on that note. And then talks about his job sacrifice and his mother. He talks about his son Gunner and his daughter and his new baby. And Michelle. What?
Colt.
It must be adopted, right?
I don't know, but I mean, yeah, he probably still ship the club.
Nah, but I'm saying no. I'm telling you, he's got to be adopted. Michelle posts on Instagram every single day. he's
okay.
If he's not adopted, then it's probably like a surrogate.
Oh, okay, possible.
Because I mean, look, we would have been new. They would have announced it all over. And Taker had a new kid.
Had to be adopted, but
and plus Michelle McCool, she came back quick for that baby to be that kind of size. She came back quick because she came back at the Rumble. So
fair,
yeah.
He thanks Michelle McCool, and he said that he wants to thank Michelle McCool for helping him, restore his faith in his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Yeah. Can I get an amen?
Wait, amen. Wait, Undertaker? Jesus freak?
So I was like, what? All right, Michelle, go ahead and do your thing.
Yeah, I think that's the first out of character interview I've ever seen with Undertaker. It's like, let's see. So I want to say it was like 3-4 years before he retired. He did an interview.
Starting to wonder about Aleister Black.
Well, he already came out and said what he was, so.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
That don't sound positive, but all right.
Never mind.
But let's see. Who did he fight? It must have been like maybe before Roman Reigns, before the Roman match, or maybe even before that. He was like talking to this pastor in his church, and he was like not the Undertaker. He was Mark Calloway. I was like, it's the first interview I've seen of him not in character. And then he did one like a year later, but he was still Undertaker. And then of course, when he retired, he just said, "Yeah, I'm not Taker no more." He got a Twitter, he got an Instagram. I was like, "Oh no, it's over.
It's over.
It's over." He taking Zoom videos. He doing the hot ones and all. I'm like, "Oh no, it's definitely over." I swear, if I see Undertaker on Wild Now, I quit.
Oh, bro, I'm done. I'm done. This shit is over. This shit is a fraud. So he talks about his mother being a big.
Or if I see him on SNL, I quit. I'm like, all right, come on now. Well, actually, no, SNL would be cool.
Shit, I don't know if it'd be on SNL. To be honest with you, bro.
I mean, I think they need more. I think Roman, somebody can do SNL. That's a wrestler.
I mean, a lot of people can do SNL, whether they think like that or not. But neither here nor there. He talked about his mom being his biggest fan and going to the Oasis trying to almost kill Sid, and then they had to pull it off. And then he said, she asked when you gonna get that ring. He said, "I got the ring." And then he finally gives a shout out to like Q said, he did talk about not doing the Taker Rooney, and then he talks about Vince and thinks Vince. Vince don't like to be thanked. And he said, but for Vince, he says, for as many times you say you love me, you sure put me in some crazy matches to put in. Inferno match, Boneyard match, Boiler Room Brawl, Buried Alive. And he said he had a Johnny Prison match that almost killed all of us. So he said if you try to get rid of me for years, I wouldn't have took the hint. And then he said, but Vince still never got him to do the Taker Rooney, and he'll take that to the grave. And then he says, but he thanks Vince for the Undertaker, and most importantly, his friendship. So after that, Taker says, now with him entering the WWE Hall of Fame, he will finally rest in peace. And then everybody celebrating, and then he about to walk down. Then he turns around, walks back up, walks to the Phenom. Undertaker takes the jacket off in the head. I thought he was gonna do the pose or actually fold it back up and put it down there and be like, I'm retired. But then he says, never say never. Don't do this to me, Undertaker.
This is what I was kidding about. I was kidding because I had seen the article. I was like, what if it is Taker and it's just a rule for everybody?
Fuck that, man. No.
Oh, that would be. Oh my gosh, that would be.
Yeah, that'd
be hilarious. Actually, that'd be hilarious.
Listen, man, it's gonna be Seth Rollins versus Shane McMahon.
Oh, yeah, right. not happening.
Why can't you believe Cody backed out, man? Why you think he not gonna? You don't think he gonna get that slavery promo on Raw?
One, because number one, probably nothing but a troll. Two, okay, that you're getting a kick out of this shit right now because you just like to hear you say it. You know how you are. Okay, so that's what it is, and you know that it's gonna be Cody.
No, seriously, like just off topic. If it's not Cody, I probably would like it better because it's not Cody. But then again, if it is Cody, I'm gonna be like, all right, cool. If it's not Cody, I'll be like, oh, okay, they gave us a shot. They actually, fooled us. So it's like either or. But if it's not Cody, don't do nothing like how when we was expecting Bianca to fight somebody and then Carmella came out. We don't need somebody of that caliber. We need like somebody big.
Yeah.
And not Goldberg either.
Oh
so,
no.
Yeah.
We Goldberg all elite according to the April Fool's post.
That was bad timing on. They know not to do an April Fool's joke when they just said Goldberg going to be at WrestleMania. Like, come on.
So, guys, that was the Hall of Fame. What is your rating for it? Promise, how with you?
I give it a thumbs up. It wasn't too long. The longest thing was Undertaker, that deserving to be, especially his first time talking out of character on WWE. So I give it a thumbs up.
How about you, Q-Flow?
I give it a thumbs up. It was good. It definitely wasn't too long. We've had dragged out Hall of Fame. This wasn't it. But yeah, it was good though. I liked it.
That's good. I give it a thumbs up as well. So that was a successful Hall of Fame, and like I said, I'm glad. I like it with the small class. I kind of wish they'd go back to the podium and go back to the more formal type way of doing the Hall of Fame. To me, this aesthetic would just look a lot better. But post your comments down below how you guys enjoy the Hall of Fame. Hit the like button if you guys enjoy our review of it. Hit the subscribe button for more WrestleMania content going on this whole weekend, because obviously there's a ton of it. So once again, this is NC and Place to be Chum saying not Deion saying it's a prime time.
All right, y'all.
And the man, the myth, the reality revolutionary freshman Flo.
All right, y'all. It's been real.
All right, I gotta go get her anyway. All right, and the Nerd Coalition is out.